Hey guys, Mr. Mackey here, and welcome to another Numbers Week, where we're going to be doing over the next few days random number topics to get you warmed up and practice the skills you've already learned. Now for the next 3 days, we're going to be looking at conversions, so converting from different measurements to other measurements, imperial and metric. But today we're going to simply start by looking at distance. Let's get into it. So, most people, whenever they're using travel, they use miles, or if they use their height, they say inches or feet. We're not going to be using them today. We're going to be focusing on that tomorrow. For today, we're going to be focusing on these 4 measurements: millimetre, centimetre, metre and kilometre, and the conversions between them. Now, millimetre, that's a tiny measurement. You've probably seen them on rulers, but you also have on those rulers centimetres, you know, like the usual 30cm rulers, the equipment you usually expect to have at school. Metres are usually sort of heights of houses or or people in general. I'm about 1.7 metres, so you might be a similar height to me. Kilometres, now that is a distance used instead of miles. That means 1,000 metres. So, let's say I had a measurement that was millimetres. How do I work out what it is in kilometres? So, let's see. So, where have you noticed that when you look at a ruler, the one of the rulers you have at school, 1 centimetre is the equivalent of 10 millimetres. So how do we work out the difference between these? Well, if 1 centimetre is 10 millimetres, to go from centimetres to millimetres, you multiply by 10. Which means if you want to do the reverse, you divide by 10. So if you want to go from here to here, you multiply. If you want to go from here to here, you divide. So what about metres? Well, centimetres, the cent in centi means 1/100th of a metre. So if it's 100th of a metre, to go from centimetre to metre, you divide by 100. But if I want to go from metre to centimetre, you do the opposite, you multiply by 100. So what about metre to kilometre? Well, kilometre means 1,000 metres. So if I want to work out that, I just multiply this by 1,000. And then if I want to do the complete opposite, I divide by 1,000. This is all you need to know to get through today's video. So if you're not sure, copy this out because you need to follow this to get through this video. Now, let's try and do some conversions. How can we find out how many centimetres are when we know how many kilometres there are? Let's see what we can do. So 6 metres, I want to convert that into centimetres. How many centimetres is that? Well, all you have to do is to go from metres to centimetres, you multiply by 100, so you multiply 6 by 100, and that will get you your converted 600 centimetres. So then how do I go from that to millimetres? Well, you know what how much it is in centimetres, so you multiply that by 10, and that becomes 6,000 millimetres. But then what if I wanted to convert that into kilometres? This means we're going to have to divide that 6 by 1,000. So 6 divided by 1,000 becomes 0.006 kilometres. As long as you remember the different ways to convert, this is how you do it for any question. Now, I currently live just outside of London, but for a few years I lived in a city called Norwich, which is about 180 kilometres away. Now, let's convert this 180 into millimetres. So we're going to do from metres to centimetres to millimetres, step by step. So for the first one, we have to multiply that 180 by 1,000, and that will get us 180,000 metres. Sorted. Now let's multiply it by 100 to find out what it is in centimetres. So you multiply 180,000 by 100, that will get us 18 million centimetres. Run out of space, so I'll put the centimetres down here. Now I want to convert that into millimeters. So you times that by 10 and that becomes 180 million millimeters. So think about that, how a number so small, 180 kilometers, is actually just under 200 million millimeters. It's quite scary to think about, isn't it? So with this diagram above and the steps you need to do, I want you to convert 2,864 millimeters into kilometers. That's your challenge for today. Pretty straightforward, just follow the steps. Let's see how you do. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do with this, and tomorrow we'll focus on more distances, but more tricky ones like miles, inches, yards, feet. Good luck with this. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.